I'm Frank Garon and I'm from Breinigsville, Pennsylvania. Well, the reason I got into real estate was to take the internet marketing knowledge and the sales knowledge that I have, having been full-time on the internet as an internet marketer, as an entrepreneur for the past 15 years. I wanted to take some of my wealth of knowledge and transfer that into a more physical type of an asset and add that to my business, because I deal with intellectual property all day long. You know, my money, I make my money through my ideas, my concepts, my mouth, my voice. But I also, on the other hand, want to own stuff that just makes good sense to own things, own physical assets, land, real estate, you know, silver, gold, whatever. And so I've known Joe, I've liked Joe, and I trust Joe. And I've also had time to see his system evolve over the years, see him perfect what was already a very competent and capable system. And it just became time where this was the logical next step for me, was to get involved in real estate. And when I look for real estate, one of the things I look for is the person that's is the teacher somebody I can buy into and believe in, or is it just another rah-rah, me too, you know, you're going to be rich overnight kind of person? And one thing I'll say about Joe is Joe gives full disclosure. You know exactly what you're getting into before you ever get started. You can't come back to Joe and say, well, you didn't tell me about this or that, because all that means is you didn't watch the 50 hours of free content he gives you, and you didn't read the 8,000 pages of emails that he's got out there, because he tells you, you know what you're getting into, you know what you can expect, and you know what to expect from him, and that's why I like that. My wife and I chose to get into this. What I'm doing with Joe Crump is as much my wife Catherine's business as my own business. I've done real estate investing over the past 3 years. We had a partnership with two other guys. We owned 28 properties in the UK, and on paper we were doing great. We controlled $3 million in property. Unfortunately, the mortgage provider that was writing those types of deals overnight stopped writing. So whereas today we're buying, we controlled $3 million worth of properties, I should say, for, you know, a couple few thousand out of our pocket. And, you know, you weren't going to get rich overnight, but you're very definitely going to get rich in a handful of years or so. And overnight it went away. So we're like, we had the taste, because you own 28 of everything, of anything, I should say. It feels good. So we're building a business, still have my full-time internet business going over here, property over here. We had that one setback. It didn't turn me away from real estate investing, because I understand the sense in it. I just needed to think about what I wanted to do. And as an internet marketer, like I say, been full-time making a decent living on the internet for the past 15 years. I understand automation. I understand systems, having modular, you know, scalability, a project of a modular nature where you can ramp up to the next level, and it's a very clear path. And I looked around at a lot of different systems. I'm not saying Joe's is the only good one, but it's certainly the one that I feel most comfortable with right now following, because it's just that. He goes, you know, basically it's like a set of instructions. Insert slot A in, you know, tab A into slot B, I should say. Here's what happens then. Now that you've done that, insert that into, and you're just building. So I like that. It's a clear, I knew exactly what was going to happen before I get started. Whereas my internet stuff is the whole other side of me, which is I think on my feet, I have to hustle. It's all about Frank and what he can come up with out of his own mouth and his own head. Here's somebody else basically handing me the equivalent of a license to print money, all standard disclaimers and you know, everything included. You know, you don't make money if you don't work, you don't make money if you don't talk, you don't make money if you don't use common sense. But the man gave me a plan that my wife can basically get in and just start driving right away. That's what I'm excited about. Well, I guess working with properties overseas is a little bit different for me, because I have a very strong physical presence in the UK. I've done 10 or so of my own live internet marketing workshops. 8 or 9 of them have been in the UK. My consulting practice, my mentorship program, just like Joe does real estate mentoring, I do internet marketing mentoring. 70–80% of my clients are in the UK. I have all the discount cards, like for example, London Transit, you know, the transit system, London Transport. I have the Oyster card, which is, you know, the top-up card, like if you were on the Chicago CTA or, you know, New York City subway or whatever. I have my own UK phone number. I've had physical offices in the UK that I've shared with other people. So I know, you know, UK this and UK that. It was easy for me. I had UK partners. So it was fun. I think I'm probably a special situation, but what I will say is the laws are different, but real estate's real estate's real estate. If you're buying at the right price, it doesn't matter whether it's Denver or Manchester, England. It doesn't matter whether it's Perth, Australia, or Singapore. But there's something about making money right at home. Like I've built the international, you know, glamorous kind of, not that I have an ego or anything, but I mean, it's kind of fun. Like, you know, yeah, oh, I'm flying over to London again. They need me in London. I'll be right there. Whereas this is like, hey, you know what? I'm selling houses and doing Joe stuff like right here in my backyard, which keeps me at home. I'm happily remarried. I have a 2-year-old daughter. I don't want to be like, as much as I miss the UK, I haven't been to the UK once in the 2 years since my youngest was born. I'm going back soon, but I used to be gone every few months. I'd be gone for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and here I consider it's the quintessential sit at home and make money in your underwear. You know, I don't have to leave if I don't want to. That's another appealing thing because my oldest is 25. And yeah, I did see her grow up, but I wasn't there for it like I am with my 2-year-old. If she wakes up, I want to be there when she wakes up. If she goes to bed, I want to be there when she goes to bed. Like Joe was talking about freedom, what's your family worth, and this and that. My family's everything. My 3 kids that's what makes my heart beat. So for me to be at home, and let's say I was making X amount of money here, being on the road doing speaking, and X amount of money here being off the road, being at home doing real estate. At my stage in life, I want to be at home. I don't want to miss a moment with my kids. I don't want to miss one moment. This allows me to make what I need to make and stay home, which I'm not saying internet marketing doesn't, because I never had to go on the road. It's just that I enjoy speaking. I enjoy, I kind of have a worldview. So I like traveling and so forth, but this keeps me local. I don't have to go, I mean, this is Indianapolis. I didn't even have to be here really to learn it. Although having said that, there's immense value in live events, and I want to encourage people seeing this video, if you're watching this now, you need to come out to the 2-day buying event so that you get the full experience. It's just part and parcel of your education. And as somebody that's been a 17-year student of entrepreneurship, what you gain in person is invaluable. You know, at home will get you up and running, absolutely, but you should always make plans. If Joe is doing a buying event, you need to anticipate that, and he does them regularly. You need to make sure you come out and attend the next one that you possibly can. Well, my goal would be, I have an interesting goal. First and foremost, I want to make sure my kids are taken care of so that they're set for life. Obviously, I want them to learn their own way, learn how to make their own way in the world, yeah? But at the same point, you know, dad's got some money. Like my oldest is 25, she'll be getting engaged. She's been with her boyfriend a couple years. You know, hey, here's money down for a house, and I don't want to miss it. I don't even want to miss the money, because don't forget, if you don't know my story, Google me, because I was a bankrupt tractor trailer driver. I went bankrupt trying to make money, okay? I never made more than $13.75 an hour, drove a tractor trailer for a living. So I still come from that, and I can still relate to that. I was not born with a silver spoon. We were decidedly middle class. So my first goal is, you always, as a parent, you always want to have your kids do better than you, and you want to take care of your kids. Second thing is to pursue my hobbies that I'm into. I have a couple of things that I'm really into. Travel, transportation. I have a transportation management degree, so you know, you see a train going down the road, I want to look at it, I want to learn about it. Jet plane, like if I had flown here, I could tell you who made the plane, you know, blah, blah, blah. I want to pursue that, pursue my passions, and the main thing I want to do is leave a legacy, not for me or not because I care about my name, but because I'm called to do it. Very involved with our local church, and this time around in life, my heart's really into it. I like work with the youth group. We're helping a friend of mine has a charity in Zimbabwe, an AIDS orphanage, where she's literally saving kids' lives and educating them. I mean, I want to be the one to cut the check and say, here, you know, bam, whatever you need, send me the bill. I have another friend who's like a brother to me. He's a Sikh from Punjab province in India. Same thing. He just funded a irrigation and sanitation system in his village that he came from. I mean, these are people that are going to the bathroom, the same place they're getting their water from, okay? They are the poorest of the poor. I don't even have to know those people to know that they're my brothers and my sisters. And just to say, you know what, Gurminder, you're going back over there, brother, to do some work. Here's 50,000. Go. I trust you, put it to use. Because money isn't about owning things, it's about what you can do with the money. And I think I already did the world a very good thing by having my 3 kids. Like, if I never did another good thing in life, my 3 kids I did right by the world, because they're good, they're principled, they're ethical, they're good kids, they're going to go far. But at the same point, if I have a mouth and a brain and I can make money, why not make it for other people? Because all I know is the more stuff I did own over the years, none of it ever made me happy or satisfied. Not to get preachy, but it's the truth in my heart anyway. The more stuff I owned, the less content I became. And so the fulfillment I get is from being a good father and a good husband, and also service to other people. There's just something about it, man. Like, you just do something nice for somebody, and they don't even have to know about it. I don't care if anybody knows what I'm doing. Between me and God, like, you know, here's the money, it's cool, go help people. So that's what's in my heart, and that's what this, helping my family, buying back some of my time, and so that I can do charity work and philanthropic work. That is the goal for me. I already have my own internet marketing business that's done very, you know, you average it out over the years from start till now, it's done very well for itself overall. But I also like challenges, and being entrepreneurial, I'm always looking. You always have that drive, you know, I want to know something that I don't know. I want to know, I should put it to you this way, I want to know about things that I don't know about. I don't like not knowing about things. I like to educate myself. And when you hear real estate, I'm like, oh, that's cool, I've owned a house, you know. But no, that's not what real estate is. Real estate's a vehicle to make money, improve your life, and it's also good sound. It should be a linchpin. Like, every family should own real estate because it's a physical asset. People can't take it away from you unless you don't pay taxes. It should be an appreciating asset. It certainly would be if you averaged it out over the years and if you bought sensibly. So for me, I think, like I say, the real estate stuff will allow me to buy back my time. I do keep myself very busy, but at age 46, I'm just called to service now. And so I know how to make money, but I need to make at least this much, if not a lot more, for 2 reasons. Number one, so that I can buy back my time and serve others through community service, through fundraising, through, you know, speaking about causes that matter to me, but also to have more money to give away. You can never have too much money, because if you have enough, then keep making more and just give the rest to everybody. There's always St. Jude's, there's always Salvation Army, there's always disabled veterans, there's always, you know, United Way, or, you know, Feed the Children. I mean, you know, so whatever I make, I'm good, and then the rest goes to the greater good. And that's where I'm at, is work as few hours as I can so I can enjoy my kids, and then make enough so that I can cover my needs, my family's needs, and the rest. I want to give away as much as I can. I really do. That's what I'm called for. Well, I'll be real honest with you. My plans to grow this business are simply as follows. Just to copy whatever Joe does, do whatever Joe tells me. I am completely shallow. Man tells me go left, I'm going left. Man tells me go right, I'm going right. Man says go straight, I'm going straight. The way I got full-time in network marketing way back in 1995 to 96 was I had somebody teach me using a script, selling a product in one way, over and over and over again. In other words, it was lather, rinse, repeat. I didn't innovate, I didn't improvise, I just read from a piece of paper, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, the money shows up. That's what I'm planning here. After 15 years of teaching and educating myself, it's kind of like I'm going back to school. It's almost like I'm starting over again to learn to learn the real estate side of things. But you know what? I have no ego. It doesn't matter what I know. It matters what Joe knows. Doesn't matter what I feel. It matters what Joe feels. Doesn't matter what I say. It matters what Joe says. Whatever he tells me to do, I'm doing. Because the way I've made my money, particularly in the beginning, now I've improvised and expanded, and you take a little bit from this guy and a little bit from this lady, and you make it, you synthesize it, and you own that combination plus what you are, and you put it out there. But in this, now, I'm completely shallow. I'm just copying my way to the top, man. Joe says push the button, I'm pushing it twice just to make sure, but no other Joe says it, Frank's doing it. That's my motto. You need to find a mentor, no matter what business you're in. You need to find a mentor, somebody that you can trust, somebody you can relate to, and also in today's age, somebody that you can educate yourself about. And one thing I'll say about Joe is you could do your homework on the guy. You could do your homework on the guy. You watch 3 hours of free video. If that ain't enough, watch a 4th hour, okay? To use slang, right? If you're doing, if you want to read an article by Joe, 2 isn't enough. Well, how about 50? Because he's got them. Testimonials, 1 or 2. That could be his brother and his uncle. Well, no, watch the videos. When he's got 100, and when he's got, because he sends us his testimonial book, stories from his students is what, an inch thick, okay? So I'm not saying Joe's perfect or he's the second coming, but the dude comes with papers, okay? He comes with papers. He's showing you, here's who I am. May I please earn your trust? May I please earn your business? And if you have questions, here are all the many different ways in which I present my information so that you can educate yourself before you get started. So whether you're starting full-bore mentoring, that's great, or if you're starting with his sort of primer, his 101, the downloadable ebook, either way, you're going to be just fine. It might take you a little bit longer. You might have to work a little harder, but that's what I had to do in the beginning. Fact is, it's all here. As I say, I know the guy, I like the guy, I trust the guy, and even if I hadn't known him all those years back, he's certainly proven himself. I mean, you know what you're buying with Joe Crump, and I like that. Other things are kind of, many times it's a leap of faith, which is great, but in today's tough times, you kind of need to, it's just good business sense to make a purchase that you could totally check the thing out. This is like taking a test drive on a car, but you drive the car 6 months before you decide if you like it or not, because he gives you that much content. That makes me personally feel really comfortable, and I could recommend it to family or friends, and I wouldn't have to sweat it or not if they're going to be taken care of. That's another thing. Would you put your mom in Joe's program? Well, yeah, because my mom could do it, and Joe would do right by my mom. So that feels good to me too. Well, I think what I'm looking forward to the most is having a new challenge, because I get excited by challenges. I have done real estate in the past. This particular system, as much as I've learned about it, it's been on the outside. So now I'm coming in from the field, and I'm working on it now. I'm in it now, and I'm working with Joe. So that feels good. That feels different. It's good to be educating myself on something that I sort of knew about, but couldn't say I had a mastery of. My plans are just to knuckle down, roll up my sleeves, and go to work just like I've always done. One bit of advice I would give, it's easier to work harder in the beginning. It's easier to work longer in the beginning while you're still young and new and excited than it is for me, at least personally, and from what I've seen with people, it's easier to work hard and fast in the beginning and get as far up the beachhead as you can get than to kind of just coast into it and see how it goes. So if you're watching this and you're trying to decide, how am I going to approach this, you need to jump in with both feet. Matter of fact, you need to buy a 3rd foot just so you could jump in with 3 of them and make full impact. Then you just need to go to work and keep going, because it happens fast. It does take time. Like Joe says, your mileage may vary, et cetera, but this is doable, that this stuff works. And that's what I would tell people. Just do the work, like Joe tells you. Me personally, sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. I have very big goals, as I've said here, very, very lofty goals, and I think we can do it in a very reasonable, very livable amount of time, and that's what I'm most excited about. I'm not going to have to be 70 to see this stuff come home. I'm going to be, I'm 46 now, to be 47. I'll be living it, so that makes me feel good too. This is as much, I'd say this is moderately paced instant gratification. In other words, moderately paced meaning it's legitimate and it's going to last, but the payoff happens soon enough to where you're not going to get bored doing it, and I know I certainly won't be.